Our next port of call was Skagway, Alaska. Normally, when you dock in Skagway, you can just get off the boat right there on the dock and walk into town. But because there was a rock slide shortly before we came, they were not able to do that. So they used tenders. Tenders are smaller boats that they use to bring people from the ship and bring them to land. In this case, they just went ahead and used the lifeboats. Hopefully this is the only time I will find myself in a lifeboat. We are in Skagway and there is a little bit of blue sky patching out today. Good stuff. There's another ship, a couple ships in port with us. Here is one of the boats loading up. There's actually a couple of boats here loading up. That one's making his way back. This might be the one we're getting on. As you can see, the water was really choppy this day, and sometimes it can be too choppy to use the tenders because it's just too dangerous. Thankfully, it wasn't quite to that point, but it was pretty bouncy. But they had people there to help you get on and off of the tender to keep you safe and make sure you made it across. Skagway is referred to as the gateway to the Klondike because this town was settled because of gold rushers coming in and trying to make their way up into the Yukon during the gold rush time. A lot of the buildings are original, though they have repurposed them. The area was first settled by William Moore and his two sons. They originally named it Mooresville, but when the town was officially recognized as a town, it ended up being named Skagway. This is the cabin that William Moore and his two sons built. This shop had something called doughboys. They're also called Alaska fry bread, but it was really good. If you go to Skagway, I highly recommend you get some of those. We ate lunch at Olivia's Bistro at the historic Skagway Inn, and their food was homemade and so good. The excursion we did was on the White Pass Yukon Rail Trail. This train ride follows the White Pass Trail, which was the passage that those who were trying to get up into the Klondike for the gold rush took. This is why Skagway is referred to as the gateway to the Klondike, because this is where people would come in on the ships and then they would start making their way up this trail. This trail was very dangerous and there were many deaths. As you can see here on the train ride, you're not that far away from drop-offs and rock faces on one side and drop-offs on the other. So it's really not an easy trail to traverse. Over time, they got to the point where they were able to put in a rail system and have a train go up. They eventually also had a road that kind of paralleled the train, which is definitely more safer. It's a 22-mile trek to get to the summit of White Pass. Up at the top, there is a Canada-US border crossing. We made our way back to the ship. They had something called Puppies in the Piazza. And what that is when the cruise ships come in, they bring these puppies on the ship because these puppies will one day grow up to run in the Iditarod. And because the Iditarod is a multiple day race and you're going to have volunteers on the trail, you're going to have veterinarians on the trail, they want these dogs to be very comfortable with just anybody touching them and things like that. And so they bring them on the cruise ship to help them to be comfortable with strangers touching them. I don't know if they do this on other cruise lines. I know they do them on princess ships, but it's kind of fun. You get to pet them and hold them, and they get that opportunity to feel comfortable with strangers. The years that the ships weren't coming in because of COVID, they actually had a couple of years of puppies that were very shy as they started to grow up because they didn't get that kind of experience. Yes, I'm in fact in Skagway watching our ship depart, eating an ice cream cone, because that is what you do in Alaska. Stay tuned because tomorrow we will be in Glacier Bay.